Malcolm X's family suing the New York Police Department. Got some reading to do to kind of give you guys the facts of the matter, but Malcolm X's family is suing the New York Police Department, CIA, and more, FBI, New York State, etc., over failing to disclose evidence in his murder. Let's get through it. $100 million lawsuit against the New York City Police Department. Ben Crump is the lawyer. Of course, Ben Crump is the lawyer. Malcolm X's daughters, they held a press conference in Manhattan saying that they're going after New York City, New York State, DA office, FBI, CIA for the wrongful death of Malcolm X. They're saying that we're going after all the government agencies that purposefully withheld evidence from the men who were wrongfully convicted of the 1965 murder. And if you see this in writing, you start to realize this is going to get real. They think that law enforcement dropped the ball with bringing X's actual killers to justice and that they all should be compensated. All right. Ben Crump says that the lawsuit is about those who conspired with the trigger men to carry out the slaying. That's strong words right there. We know that 3 people were convicted, 2 wrongfully convicted. The third always stated that the other 2 had nothing to do with it. And one of them was awarded $36 million for the wrongful conviction. I think the other one has passed away. What do you do in this situation? I mean, I don't know how many documentaries I've seen of Malcolm X in his life. Matter of fact, right now I'm watching, and I know I'm late, but I'm watching The Godfather of Harlem, and watching that with Forrest Whitaker. They got a Malcolm X in there. Dude, I thought Denzel nailed Malcolm X. Yo, this dude, I don't even know his name. This dude not only looks dead on Malcolm X, but he has me thinking, you know, someone acts so good, like you got to go back to the original person to make sure that they're not influencing you, because I'm like, you act better than Malcolm X did at being Malcolm X. Like, I had to go back and look at some original tapes. I was like, dog, did Malcolm X really act like that? It was amazing. He's killing the performance. But you can also learn a lot from that performance and learn a lot about that time, those experiences, and Malcolm X as well. Obviously, there's been so much talk, so much fodder of what really happened. But I think that's to this case's point, that what really happened has not been properly identified and properly shown to the world at large, especially to Malcolm X's family. So if you talk about government agencies being a part of a conspiracy to kill Malcolm X, and then they wrongfully convict 2 people for sure, then we have some unanswered questions, right? And I think that's where we are. Like, answer the questions, and now we have different answers. Why are these answers different than they were from 1965 to present day? And because of that anguish, because of that pain, that trauma, because of that family cannot close off this case in terms of understanding, there's some compensation to be had. First, you have to prove the conspiracy. Let me just say lazily, from my vantage point, it seems like that may not be the most difficult thing. I've heard time and time again the wiretaps and how they were undermining the Nation of Islam, the Fruit of Islam, to make sure that they had the infighting that led to his death. And then they had their hand in his death as well. I heard that, allegedly, right? So Ben Crump is obviously going to attack that point, because he's like, okay, one thing happened, but there are 1,000 explanations. Oh, maybe this is the distraction to keep us from really finding out. But we're going to find out to the tune of a $100 million lawsuit. Now, you got these answers that need to happen. Once you get those answers, you figure out why were there so many different circumstances, so many different versions. And then no one can argue at this point, if you get there from 1965 to 2023, unanswered, unsolved, oh, that's going to cost you. You know this about the court of law. Like, physical pain, physical issues is one thing. But if you start talking about mental trauma, mental pain, anguish, oh, those numbers start to add up, and they add up drastically. So I'm looking at this situation like, on paper, it looks like they have a very strong case. They didn't just go in there saying, you guys did the wrong thing. They're saying, because you did the wrong thing, in addition to doing the wrong thing. You have caused our family harm. Malcolm X has been gone, but his family, his legacy continues to go and is still affected because of this unsolved case. 2 wrongfully convicted, and they already in court of law had the admission and the verdict to the point where one of them got $36 million. That makes me think a little tangent, but it's still a part of this. What is the number when you lose so much of your life? Because life is precious. Time is timeless, and there's no value on time, really, just because we all get 24 hours in a day. We spend it differently, but you never get it back. Like, that's the bank account that you're never going to go up to and say, hey, I'm going to add something to it. Nah, that account's already set. Whatever it is between you, your God, your universe, whatever it may be. So how do you get it back? Someone says, you robbed me of 30, 40 years of my life. Is that 30, 40 million dollars? Hell no. It's way more than that, but what is it? What is that number? For me, I'm just saying infinity. What my son running around now? These new kids, they don't even say infinity now. They say Googleplex. I'm like, what number is that? And he's like, that's how much I would sue for. So Ben Crump, you listening to me? If I ever get wrongfully convicted of something, man, Googleplex, damn it. That's what we suing for. But in all seriousness with this case, I will be following this keenly just because I think we're going to learn a lot about the government agencies from 65 to now. That's always great. Great documentaries come from that. More than that, just to hear the difference in era and hear how high did it go up in terms of conspiracy, if it did. And then also them actually respecting that it had an effect on this family to the tune of what they will give them if they're successful in this case. What would be that monetary settlement in this case?